Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the North East Lincolnshire series, centred around Grimsby and Cleethorpes along the Humber Estuary. North East Lincolnshire has 21 civil parishes. Here's today's for you. Welcome back to North East Lincolnshire, everybody. Now, behind me is Hatcliffe Manor, where we ended the Hatcliffe episode. And from here, we're going to drive into today's parish. There's only one publicly accessible road in this place, and on it are a handful of houses and a farm. There's only really one thing of note, and that is the site of a priory, which is not on public land. It's on private land. However, I am going to see if I can access it, if I can ask the farm in question on which this priory sits, whether I can just go and have a look at it. Welcome to West Ravendale. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to the Ravendale Valley, in which the main village is East Ravendale. We're heading towards that here, but before we get there we have to cover West Ravendale. This is the smallest settlement in North East Lincolnshire and it's about 6 miles to the south of Grimsby. Bear in mind this is not your usual episode. There was no route plan as such for this, just a lot of hopefulness on my part that I could cover what I wanted to. West Ravendale is effectively just one farm, Priory Farm, and also a collection of about 4 or 5 houses. The rest of the boundaries cover mainly arable farmland, although there are some wooded areas around too, some of which you can see from this road. With very little accessible publicly, this one was always going to be tough, because what is there to show you, you might ask? West Ravendale's most well-known landmark is on private land. It's the site of a priory, defined by a small patch of earthworks in a field to the south of Priory Farm. It was a small alien house of the Premonstratensian order, and it belonged to Beaufort Abbey in Brittany. The site is a scheduled monument and Grade 2 listed. Aside from the priory though, I was to discover something else here too, something I didn't even know existed until I'd almost driven past it. We'll get to that in a moment. Okay, we're almost at the farm in question, which is over there. As you can see, there's a couple of houses there. That's where the farm is. We'll go and ask them in a moment if we can get to the site of the priory. But I didn't realise along this road there's also something else of note. Look at this. There's a cliff face. That seems to be an old quarry, I reckon. Let's see if we can talk a bit about this first. This is the Ravendale Chalk Quarry, located across the road from Priory Farm. Disused and also very dangerous due to falling rocks, this is as close as I dared get to it. It's a sheer white cliff face and it's actually quite impressive. The quarry is part of a wide band of chalk beds across northern Lincolnshire known as the Burnham Chalk Formation. This road cuts right through the quarry. What it was used for seems to be a bit of a mystery, although my guess would be for construction. So let's head across the road into Priory Farm, off the public road and into the farmyard. My plan here was pretty simple: find a farmer or someone who could help me and ask if I could film the site of West Ravendale Priory. The site lies just to the south of the farm, just within the boundaries of a field. Of course, seeing as this is a typical Lincolnshire working farm, there was no guarantee I'd find anyone in the farmyard. As luck would have it though, I did. So yes, we are allowed to go and look at the site of the priory. I met two farmers there in this farmyard, and they said as long as I leave the car here and walk it, then I'm allowed to. So let's walk it. It's a bit muddy, but you know, it's a farm. What do you expect? So it's through this gate and then just to the right. So yeah, let's go and find it. There are 9 of these sites in Lincolnshire, and now we've covered 3 of them. West Ravendale Priory was founded by Alan, son of Earl Henry of Brittany, and granted to Beaufort Abbey in 1202. The cell was dissolved in 1359, having been ruinous since the early 14th century. All that remains now are these earthworks, which surround the remains of a chapel, measuring 14 metres by 5. It was believed to have been built using chalk, flint and ironstone rubble, so there's a strong possibility some of its materials might have come from over the road. Owing to wars with France, it was taken into the possession of the English crown and was part of the dowry of Joan of Navarre, the wife of Henry VI. After her death in 1437, the priory was assigned to the Collegiate Church of Southall. The remains of the chapel survived into the early 20th century, but now it's overgrown so much that there are no recognisable features left. Just goes to show, doesn't it? You don't have to be in a built-up area to find things which are interesting. Out here in the middle of nowhere, West Ravendale Priory. Obviously you need permission to come and access it, like I have, but you know, they seem reasonable, these people here. So yeah, absolutely, if it's worth coming to see, absolutely. So let's just turn the camera around and show you exactly what else I can see up here. There we go, look, beautiful Lincolnshire countryside everywhere you look. And the quarry is visible here as well. It's over there, look, in the very far distance. So now I'm going to make my way back down through the farmyard to the car and out of West Ravendale and head towards its eastern counterpart. After thanking the 2 farmers, I made my way back to the road, and that's been West Ravendale, folks. Not your average episode by any means, but still a pretty enjoyable one. If, like me, you like finding earthworks and don't mind a bit of farmyard mud, West Ravendale Priory is well worth a look. Keep in mind though that this is a working farm. West Ravendale Priory is not a tourist attraction, and both it and the farm should be treated as fully private, unless of course you're granted access to them, as I was. Let's head for East Ravendale now. I'll see you there in the next episode. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.